Listen, I'm the first to admit that it is so easy to get caught up in comparing your life to others and seeing everybody on Instagram and on TikTok on their Europe vacation and having so much money to spend at Chanel and just buying their dream car and moving into their dream house with their dream man. And it feels like everyone's lives on social media is just perfect. Every time I open up the TikTok app, it's like another person spending $5,000 on this, and it's someone moving into a new house, and it's someone like doing the things that like would take me 6 months to save up for. And it's so easy to get caught up in like the comparison game, especially when we're at this age where like some of us don't have kids, some of us have like barely any experience in like the real world, some of us are still like in college, some of us have families already, some of us are broke, some of us are doing really well. There's just like, when you're in your 20s, there is just such a huge gap in like where people are in their lives, and it's so easy to get caught up in like, well, I should be at this place, or like I wish I was doing this, or there's just a lot of confusion because you're out of high school, you're out of college, but you're less than like 5 years into like the real world, and you're most likely not in your dream job, not in your dream position in your career, and probably not making how much money you would like to be making. And then you go on Instagram and on YouTube and you see these like marketing gurus and all these people who are making like $100,000 in one day, and you're like, what the f, like what am I doing wrong? And I'm here to remind you that you're doing absolutely nothing wrong, and it's okay to not put that pressure on yourself, and take a moment to think about like what you have accomplished. I had to do this with myself. I was like, okay, well, what the hell? Let's backtrack. I come from a very poor family in the Dominican Republic. I'm talking poor, like we didn't even have like concrete ceilings. It was made out of like aluminum, and a lot of times we didn't have power, we didn't have water, and my mom was like the only person that was financially responsible for maybe like 5 or 6 of us. Somehow she makes it out of the Dominican Republic, and we move to America, to a very small town in the suburbs of North Texas, where at the time people didn't even know that the Dominican Republic was a country, let alone everyone that was there was basically white, and I was very much the different person in the group always. I remember my first class in first grade, I had this teacher called Mrs. Kime, and I will never forget, this woman was like 7 feet tall. And if you know anything about Dominicans, like we are not that tall. I'm literally 5 feet tall, and I'm like average here. When I saw this woman, I was scared. Anyways, she was a really nice person. And then from there, maybe like a year or 2 later, my mom got divorced. My mom had no formal education in America, even though she had really like done her master's in Dominican. None of that matters when you're in America. She had no formal education. She barely spoke English, and I don't even know how many different types of jobs she had to do to be able to take care of us. I remember we moved in with her friend. Me and my mom shared a bedroom for so long. Then she got pregnant and she had 2 more kids, which are my siblings. Their dad also isn't really the best. We struggled financially, emotionally, with a lot of things for years and years. I was able to put myself through college by working. I literally have worked ever since I was 16. I'm now 26, have never stopped working until now, and for like 3 months in the pandemic, because there was literally, not 3 months, maybe like 6 or 7, 8 months in the pandemic, because there was literally like nowhere that you could work. I put myself through college, and then I finally graduated, and then I was able to move to the Dominican Republic because I got a remote job. And I feel like when I moved here was when my life started. I looked for a job for 3 months, and I knew that I wanted a job that would allow me to work remotely full-time, like no in-office type visits, because I wanted to move to the Dominican Republic. It was always my like dream to move to the Dominican. I don't know why I have such like a strong connection to the country, to the place, but it was always my dream. Ever since I was a little girl, and I would come back for like the summers and stuff, I would always leave literally crying, and I would always say that I wanted to live here, I wanted to live here. My mom, being the type of mother that she is, she was like, you're going to graduate from college in America, and then you can go like wherever the hell you want to go. And so I did that. I literally packed up my life into 2 suitcases. I packed up my cat, and I literally took a plane and moved to the Dominican Republic. I moved into an Airbnb for like 6 months, and those 6 months have now turned into like 2.5 years of me being here. I found my fiance here, I found my community, my group of friends, and I've really like established a life here. I feel like more than a life than I ever had in like Texas, because I always felt, and I still do feel this way, you're not from there and you're not from here, because here people will always make comments about like America and being American and like all these things, but over there I always got comments about being Dominican and like those types of comments too. So it's like I'm not from America and I'm also not Dominican. Like I don't know what I am. I'm just like a mix of these two worlds. And so here I am, engaged, 26, just got laid off from my first ever like big girl job out of college. It was something that I saw coming because like the company just wasn't doing well. And my boss was very, very nice. I have like a very good relationship with my boss, and she's also like the CEO. She literally cried as she was telling me that she like had to let me go. I was also crying on the call, and that has gotten me to this point in my life where I'm like, what is my next step? It's something that it's so hard not to focus on like where you wish you were, because looking back, I dreamt about being in the exact position that I am right now, maybe like with a job, but like even when I did have a job and I was here and I was going to the beach every weekend, I had my fiance and like my group of friends and all the things, like they're all the things that I had wished for, and I feel like I didn't really like enjoy it or like appreciate it as much as like I should have. I just want to remind you that where you are right now, like you have worked so hard to get to where you are right now, and like the best thing that you can do is literally just enjoy where you are right now, because everything is the way that it's supposed to be. I truly believe that God has a plan for everything, and God's timing is perfect. Even like my time here, like I've grown so much closer to God, and like even me speaking about God in this video, it's just, I feel like a completely different person than like who I was even like 1 year ago. And if you're in a position right now where you're so lost and you feel like I don't know what the point of my life is, I just want to let you know, keep making the right decisions, the right choices every single day, and somehow you will end up where you need to be. And I had to remind myself of this because one of my big goals in life was to be financially stable enough to move to the Dominican and be like comfortable here, because unfortunately the jobs here do not pay well. And I knew that if I wanted to move here, I wanted to move here and like be able to live a comfortable lifestyle with an American job. And I worked really hard for that. There were so many decisions, so many days of studying, so many days of working in restaurants and like my feet hurting, leaving Mi Casina smelling like onions, and then going the next day to school to get me to where I am today. And I just have to keep reminding myself, and I have to keep reminding you, that if you make the decisions today that will take you just one step closer to where you want to be tomorrow, you're going to look back in a week, in a month, in a year, and you'll realize that you have gotten to the place where you wanted to be. And one of the things that really helped me with this was thinking about like, who am I? Like, what is my life story? How did I get to this point? It's about the things that I told you about, like my upbringing, about all the things that I had to overcome to just be able to like study. Like so many nights where we didn't even know like if we were gonna be able to like keep living in our apartment. And it's like all of these things have led me up to this point. And I know that, for example, like me being laid off, it's a challenge that I know and I trust. And I trust in God that it's because something bigger and better is coming. But if you start to think negatively and you let your mind take over, and I am guilty of this, I have let my mind literally like start eating itself over like the worries of like, how am I gonna pay for these things, and like, oh my god, it's been a month, like what about now? And like every time I get on LinkedIn, everyone's like, the job market right now is so tough and all these things. And it's like, you gotta trust in yourself, you gotta trust in God, you gotta trust timing, you gotta be patient, and you just gotta keep working towards it, whatever it is. I encourage you to literally go take out a piece of paper, write down your story, write down where you envisioned yourself right now and like where you are right now actually, and like what things line up, what things don't line up. I have to be realistic with myself just like you need to be realistic with yourself. Like, why aren't you there? Have you put in the effort? In the areas of my life that I feel like I'm lacking, it's because there was a lack of effort. Literally, I think that no one really knows what they're doing, not even like top CEOs. Like, after working with a CEO of a company that makes millions of dollars each year, seeing how even that CEO doesn't really know what she's doing, where she's going, is just as confused as I am. It just serves as a reminder that like none of us know what the heck we're doing and we're all just trying to figure it out. Even freaking Mel Robbins talks about this, and if Mel Robbins is confused, then like I feel like it's okay for me to be confused. Anyway, I wanted to make this video to remind you that it is okay to feel lost in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. We're all just trying to figure this thing called life out, and the best thing that you can do is try to define what success is for you, not what you see on social media, not what you see on someone else's page, because there are so many times where I'm perfectly fine like in my relationship, and then I'll open TikTok and someone's man is doing some grand gesture and I'm like, what the hell, why doesn't my man do that? And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, you were just fine 5 seconds ago. And it's the same thing with like clothes and shopping and like travel and like your house. It is impossible to compare your life to them. A lot of them, that's not even their real life. It's just characters that they play online. And I think that we just have to remember that we are all in the right place, in the exact place that we need to be for ourselves, in our own lives, in our own timelines, and that's it. I hope this video helps you remember that we're all just going through it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below what your main struggle is right now. I feel like we as young people in our 20s, we all have so many different struggles. Some of us financially, some of us with like body image, some of us with our personalities, with our friends, with our relationships, with our families. There are so many things that are like domino pieces just moving around in this age, and it's okay. We're all just trying to figure it out, and I hope that this video helps you figure it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.